by a well at the opposite ends of the earth with his unicorn horn. He shall push the people to the opposite ends of the earth, and he will receive the blessing of a multitude. All the nations shall be blessed under his blessing, because he is all the nations. So we'll get into that tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and go, and I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, well, what you're going to find out is that according to the New Testament, we keep saying this, according to Jesus and the apostles, the Israel that is now, the one that you say, oh, those people over there, that's Israel. That isn't actually Israel. See, there's been a big lie. You are actually Israel. You're lost, but you're going to be found. Jesus said, I'm only sent unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But to those who were not lost, who thought they knew everything and were under this law and were going around condemning everyone, Jesus called them hypocrites. And he said, how will you flee from the wrath to come? He said, I've not lost one of my sheep except the son of destruction, that the scripture might be fulfilled. Who is the son of destruction? That's Apollyon, destruction. In Greek, Apollyon and destruction, same word. So Paul mentions Apollyon, right? The son of destruction. And the book of Revelation says he's got the key to the bottomless pit. Sometimes it's called Abiddon, which is Abi, father, Adon, Adonai, Yahweh Adonai. You see, Yahweh was never the God of heaven. He was the God of the underworld. And Jesus said, your father is the devil. He's from beneath. But my father's above, and he's from heaven. And he's love, and your father is jealous, which is hate. And the Apostle Paul says there is no jealousy in love. So the God of vengeance, the God whose name is jealous, the God who condemns and gave us a law which put us all under the bondage and the curse, that's not our Father. What we're going to do is we're going to trace, ultimately here what we're going to do, and it may take 2 or 3, 4 different, I don't know how many videos we're going to make on this, but we're going to trace the Israelites and find out not only where they went, but who we are, and what is the truth, and what is the great tribulation that's coming, and what is the Antichrist, and this one world government, and all these things that we're trying to understand. Because it really isn't that hard when you really understand the characters in the Bible. Now we're going to blow your mind with some different things here. Look at here. Deuteronomy 33, we read this in the last. We're going to start off from here again, just to kind of recap. So this is what it says in Deuteronomy. The majesty of deity. And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of deity, blessed the children of Israel before his death. And he said, Yahweh, that's actually Yahweh there, not the Lord. They don't, it's all capital letters, so they've translated it. They don't like pronouncing the name of their God. So they've forgotten who he is. They don't have a clue. But Yahweh came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of saints. From his right hand went a fiery law for them. Now this is important. We have to understand this. So important because the whole world and that nation of Judea over there today that are their scholars and scribes, they have forgotten who their deity is. They have no idea that the entire world broke up the world into a circle. There were 12 houses and 6 houses were on the bottom. Now that's exactly what the Bible's talking about, because Peter talks about the angels who fell and were thrown into Tartarus. That's the same story in the Greek mythology about the Titans who went into Tartarus. Those are the angels. That's all the same story. It's the same story of the Sumerians, the Babylonians. And on the top of the wheel, they had a heavenly Father. And Jesus says, my Father's on the top. He's in heaven. It's not the same as your Father. Your Father's a vengeful, hateful deity. The God of beneath, the Hades, the God of hell. He's got the key to death, but I'm going to get it from him. So, where is this Mount Seir? Well, Esau is in Mount Seir. Esau took his wives from the women of Canaan, also Basemath, Ishmael's daughter. Esau and Ishmael had a marriage. They had a, what would you say, a pact together. Ishmael and Esau is the same. So Ishmael had 12 sons. So there are 12 tribes of Ishmael, and they're the same as Esau, and they come from, guess what? According to the controversial research by Professor Israel Cole of Hebrew University in his book Hashem, that just means the name, because they won't pronounce it. Mount Hermon is actually the Mount Sinai mentioned in the Hebrew Bible, with a biblical story reminiscent of an ancient battle of the northern tribes with the Egyptians somewhere in the Jordan Valley. All right. So, even scholars today admit they don't like to talk about this because it's going to blow their whole theory. It's going to completely discombobulate everything that these religious individuals believe, and it's going to show them up for who they are. And so they don't want you to know this, my friends. But just for a moment, any of you out there, my listeners, just for a moment, think about this and think about the possibility that Mount Hermon is Mount Sinai. Remember, Mount Hermon is where Jesus went with his disciples and said, the gates of hell will not overpower my kingdom. I will build my kingdom. See, Jesus' kingdom is one. Yahweh's kingdom is another, but they want the same territory. They want our souls. The only difference is Jesus' kingdom is not a part of this world. And how could that be? Well, because this world, this society, these rules, these laws, this cosmos, which means all the angelic beings, it sets up laws, it creates a government, which is the basis, the foundation for the kingdom that we live in. The kingdoms of this world, they're going to be in the hands of the 144,000 very soon. But right now, they're in the hands of Yahweh. Now, why would that be? How could that happen? Well, Yahweh fell on his mountain. He fell on his mountain. But the mountain is we're talking about, of Abaddon, right? Father Adonai. Apollyon, the son of destruction. He's the one at the top of that mountain. And that mountain's going to fall. Babylon's going to fall in the book of Revelation. And he's going to say, get out of her, my people. It's time for this old world to fall. We're talking about a dispensation of the law, the dispensation of the God of Satan ruling over this world. It's now in the hands of Christ and those of you who want to follow Christ. But there's going to be some interesting information that we're going to find out about this mountain. In Deuteronomy 3:8, 3-9, and Joshua 12:1 and 13:11, Mount Hermon is depicted as a northern boundary of the Amorite kingdom, which, following the conquest by Joshua, was awarded to the half-tribe of Manasseh east of the Jordan River. Okay, so this is supposedly east of the Jordan River. The book of Chronicles mentions Mount Hermon as the place where Ishmael, or Ishi, Eliel, Azrael, Jeremiah, Hodaviah, and Jadiel were the heads of their families. In Psalms 42, which leads to Psalms of the northern kingdom, the psalmist remembers God from the land of Jordan and the Hermonites. In Song of Songs 4:8, Hermon is an instance of an exotic locale. And Psalms 133, one of the songs of Ascent, makes specific reference to the abundant dew formation upon Mount Hermon. The book of Ezekiel 27:5, meanwhile, praises its cypresses, referring to it by its alternate name, Senir. In the apocryphal book of Enoch, Mount Hermon is the place where the Watcher class of fallen angels descended to earth. They swear upon the mountain that they would take wives among the daughters of men and take mutual imprecation for their sin. Enoch chapter 6. Friends, think about this at this point. You've all probably read this whole modern stuff going around about the Anunnaki. We've done a lot of videos on that. And we found out that the Bible was just a small excerpt, that there's a lot more information about the Genesis 6:4, the angels who fell. There's a big story here. Okay, well, interesting because, as we said, since our Bible's in sort of a Reader's Digest version, an excerpt from the original writings of the Sumerians and Babylonians, Akkadians and Assyrians, Egyptians all had this information. And they all had it exactly the same. The gods that fought with one another. In some places they worshipped one god, in some places they worshipped another. But they always knew who these gods were. Enlil was the god in heaven. That's Zeus in the Greek. And Yahweh, or Ea Inki, he's always called Ea Inki. And he's called that in the Bible. Yahweh is just a tense of the word Ea. That's why it says, what is thy name? And he says, Ea Asher Ea. That is my name, Ea. I am Ea. That's his name. But Yahweh is just another tense. It's the same word. And so it's these two vowels, Ea. But the other word, Inki, is there in the Hebrew too. It's translated I am or something. But it really is in the Hebrew, it's Anoki. Okay? Because there's no vowels. You got to supply the vowel. So we don't know if it's Anoki or Inaki or, Anunnaki or whatever, So, but remember, the Old Testament tells us that the giants that were in the land were, that Genesis 6:4 calls Nephilim. But in Deuteronomy, I think 33, it calls them Anakim, or the sons of Anak. Okay, Anak is the same as Ea Anak or Ea Inki. Anak is, see, those are just two words. You can write them any way you want in English, but An is heaven and Ki is earth. And so Inki is, depending on how you write it, it will say and make a sentence. Now that may read the one who is from heaven and rules over the earth. He came from heaven to the earth. So perhaps he came on a ship. Okay, we'll get into that perhaps sooner. Now, Enlil, that is An-El, or that El meaning the ruler from heaven. So, remember, there are all these different deities, and they're the same in every religion. But the Jews didn't know that. So, they are working entirely based, their religion is based on the bottom of the wheel, the God at the bottom of the wheel, who is the God of the carnal nature, who is angry and vengeful and hateful and wants war and hate and vengeance. But what is this Mount Hermon? Okay, as we've said, this is Mount Sinai. This is the famous mountain. It's in all the ancient religions. It's in the Babylonian Epic of Gilgamesh. It's in the Ugaritic religion. It's in all of the Sumerian and Babylonian Egyptian writings. But sometimes they use names that are slightly different because their languages are different. But Mount Hermon's name has been related to the Semitic root HRM. See, there's no vowels. And that means taboo, or consecrated, dedicated. And the Arabic term al-Haram, which means sacred enclosure. Okay, so this was a sacred mountain. It always has been for every nation on the face of the earth. The Epic of Gilgamesh mentions that Mount Hermon split after Gilgamesh killed Humbaba, the guardian of the cedar forest. One translation of Tablet 5 states the ground split open with the heels of their feet as they whirled around in circles. Mount Hermon and Lebanon split. Friends, there's talk like that in the Bible. In Zechariah, when Jesus comes down, his feet shall land upon the mountain, and half of it will split, and there'll be a valley of decision. And it's very similar to these ancient stories, because they are these ancient stories. And if you didn't know what these stories were, if you didn't have prior knowledge about what the Babylonians and the Sumerians wrote, because this is the original teaching, it's written in the stars. There are 12 astrological signs, and these signs all tell a story about the coming of Christ. Jason the Argonauts, blah blah, it's all there, every one of them. Jason's going to get the golden fleece, right? That's the fleece means the lamb's skin, right? A golden one, a divine lamb, Christ. So, Ugaritic religion says the mountain or the summit is referred to as Saphon in Ugaritic texts, where the places of Baal is located in a myth about Attar. Now that myth about Attar that the Babylonians Now remember, Saphon is mentioned in the Bible. In another place it's called Saphon Zion, right? And it's called the mountain in the remotest parts of the north. The mountain of God, the city of the Grand King. So there's a specific, these words are specifically going back to ancient words that refer to this ancient civilization where this present system got established, where Yahweh came down on his mountain and created the blueprint for the world you live in. Now, so in that story, there's this son of the morning. In our Bible, the story is given in Isaiah chapter 14, and it talks about Lucifer. And Christians have been under the, well, just like they think that Yahweh is their father, their God, when he's not. So if we can prove that Yahweh is the God at the bottom of the wheel and not our Father in heaven, the Lord, the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, then who is it that this devil, Yahweh, who is he talking to when he's talking to Lucifer and says, I will send you to hell? Well, of course, that's Jesus. Jesus is the light, the Lucifer, the one who wants to become like God. Because you see, Jesus partook of flesh and blood, as did his brethren, which means he partook of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil to become like God. That's how you do it. You have to have knowledge to become like God. You have to come into the physical world. You have to partake. And you see, Yahweh didn't like that. Yahweh didn't want us to partake of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. He condemns us from doing it. He condemns us in his wrath. He curses the ground. He curses the woman. He curses the man. He curses everything, including the serpent, which is your DNA. So he didn't like that, and he sent Jesus to hell. That's also similar to Isaiah 53, where it says Yahweh delighted in crushing Jesus. So Mount Hermon, which means a sacred or a dedicated place, a sacred mountain. The reason, it's pretty obvious why it's the sacred mountain. It's the most sacred mountain. It's the mountain of Yahweh, where he created this system, this government, this cosmos, the present age that we live in. It's the highest mountain in ancient Israel, boasting majestic snow-capped peaks rising over 9,000 feet above sea level. Mount Hermon may have been the site of Jesus' Christ's transfiguration. It not just may have been, it was. Known today by its Arabic name, 𝕃.ℝ.𝔹, meaning snowy mountain. Mount Hermon's 3 distinct peaks are covered with snow most of the year. In Bible times, Mount Hermon was also called Sirion by the Sidonians and Senir by the Amorites. These 2 names mean breastplate, like referring to the mountain's rounded snow-topped crests that gleam in the sunlight. Visible from great distances, the mountain range is nearly 30 miles in length and about 15 miles wide. Mount Hermon is located at the northeastern boundary of Israel. The northeastern, way at the top in the north, on the border between Syria and Lebanon. That's another reason why we know this is Mount Zion, because the Bible says Mount Zion at the furthest extremity in the north. The city of the Grand King, Yahweh. We know. The Bible tells us over and over again. A lot of people just don't want to look.
There's a chapel in Kansas. If we're going to invent something, right, forget like the traditional way of people having kids, right? The way they, have it away in that.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
No, like the way that, we have kids and stuff. If it'd be good if what happened was to control it is if man and woman, right, they're born and that, they enjoy their life, they learn a lot, they live to be about 78, I think, by that point.
so specific.
No. Well, by 78, I reckon you've sort of got to that point where you go, do you know what? I've done everything I'm going to do. If you haven't bungee jumped by the time you're 78, you're not going to do it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like
Your hips come off.
You've done it all now.
Yeah.
And then you die, right? So, say if everyone had that, they lived to be 78. But then, just as you die, you have a little baby inside you, and as you die, your life carries on.
Sorry,
how is this happening?
Sorry, are you mental?
No, but don't you think...
I mean, what? I've never heard such drivel.
You're saying that, but if Newton said it, you'd go, interesting. That's what annoys me.
The point is, Carl, he never would. He'd never say it, that's the point.
I
don't say it. If you never say it...
I don't understand what you're talking about there. Well, how was it? How is there a little baby in a 78-year-old?
No, what I'm saying is it's like an apple, where the apple grows, and it's got its little baby pips in it, and the apple goes, and the seeds are planted, and a new one's born.
But that's what happens.
But that is what reproduction is.
Yeah, but I'm saying babies aren't being born left, right, and centre. It's controlled, so that as someone dies, someone's born.
But Carl, stop. Whose responsibility is this?
If you don't want to do it, we won't do it. But
is it supposed to be nature? Has nature got to develop humans so that we act that way? We live that way? Or is it a scientific experiment?
He said to you then, he said, look, if you don't want to do it, we don't need to do it. Like, if you were up for it, we'll sort it out. We can do that.
We'll have a whip round, so we can do the research.
I just think, at the end of the day, we've got to do something. And is anyone keeping an eye on this and looking at what we can do next to control the population thing? It does my head in that I've got to live in London for work and what have you, and there's loads of people here, and forget going out on a Saturday night, it's too busy, and you can't move, and they keep... I mean, what annoys me about London
So your solution is that 78-year-old women have little babies inside them, and as they slip away into death, the little babies... And how is that baby then raised?
Who looks after
the baby?
Because it's a pretty good system having a baby while you're young enough to look after that baby and make sure it lives to reproductive age itself.
I mean, that system's been working for years.
Nature sort of sorted it out. Natural selection and evolution sort of makes that a good model.
But wait a minute, nature. Pop that on hold, because Carl Pilkington's got an idea.
Yeah.
That's what it was, just an idea.
Yeah, well, it was nonsense. But thank you for it.
I mean, it was the ramblings of someone you'd find by themselves in a hospital eating flies.
This is the sort of thing you find when if they find maybe a pamphlet or a booklet written by a psychopath. Someone, just before they went on a rampage and then turned the gun on themselves, they go through their possessions and they find a book and it's got weird drawings, women with knives in their face, and this kind of garbage.
In fact, I saw a similar sort of theory written out on a wall, but it was written in shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, all I'm saying is, I think it's when people die normally, everyone's fed up about it, aren't they, and a bit down. But if when you pass away, you go, we're gonna miss Gladys or whatever. But then there's this new life brought in. It's almost like a bad news.
But you're talking about it like someone could pick this idea up and run with it. Like you've given them enough information to do it. How is this possible? Where does she get the baby from? Why does it grow? Why grow it in Gladys's belly? Why not have it in a drawer? Ready to go? Just add water. I mean,
who looks after son of Gladys?
There is no theory here. It's the ramblings of a madman.
Visit inspiration4.com for your chance to go to space.
We all deserve to live a happy and fulfilled life, but in a complex world with the
Dinosaurs and man did not come.
It's the ramblings of a madman.
Dinosaurs and man did not coexist. The dinosaurs had long gone before man arrived. Extinct. Kaput. You don't believe us?
Well, you don't believe it because you've seen...
Because you saw that film where they took pictures of lizards and magnified them and put them next to men in film so they looked like they were fighting.
Yeah.
No, but why couldn't that have happened?
What is the film with Raquel Welch? A million years BC.
A million years BC or something.
A million years BC. Brilliant. Yeah.
No, but...
She had a sort of woolly mammoth bikini. Fact.
But why wasn't the dinosaurs back then just like how we have dogs now, in a way?
He's watching the Flintstones. He's thinking of the Flintstones.
Yeah.
That's what he's
when he
thinking.
puts out the saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah,
and then
yeah. And he mixes his concrete in a pelican.
I just think that there must have been a crossover point.
Why? Why did you say that? Why do you think there must have been a crossover point?
Because if nothing was knocking about at any point, how did anything carry on?
I know. Exactly. Why didn't Hitler meet Nero? It's weird, isn't it? There must have been a crossover. They must have met somewhere. They must have met at a party somewhere.
They mixed in similar circles.
Yeah, they must have bumped into... I can't believe it.
Forget it.
Oh.
I looked at the wall and there was like a little piece of paper stuck on the wall, right? And I said, what's this here? So I wandered over, right? Got right up close to it and somebody had wrote it.
Somebody had wrote it. Somebody had wrote it.
I love this. Right, go on, sorry.
There's a little sign there, right? And I go up to it and it says flies, right? With an arrow. Flies, like flies this way, right? I think that's a bit weird. So I follow the arrow, right? Which goes to this corner where there's a shelf. About 3... It was up and down, walking up and down the road. Anyway, one day she sort of walked past, right? Turned round and looked in the pram. There's a bucket with a face on it. You're telling me you've never, like, when you've been in a gym or anything, you've not just sort of turned your head, had a look and gone, alright.
Loop that. If any DJs are listening, they've got a little baby in their stomach, like a pip in an apple, that then carries on when they die.
Right.
It wasn't a theory, it wasn't an idea, it was the ramblings of a mental
You're
case.
saying it's stupid, but someone's emailed in and said, oh yeah, that's pretty good. Just saying, if that's a no, right, I've been thinking
Is this a
about, what about if we do it the other way, right?
Ah, go on.
Somehow, I don't know how
The kid has an old lady?
That's what it's going to be, isn't it? A child will give birth to an old man.
No. What I'm saying is, right,
Go on.
work.
Fuck boy.
Hey?
Fuck boy.
Fuck. The fuck is... Fuck is chop. Chop. Dumb fuck. Hang on a minute. This is a joke. That is a joke. Dumb fuck.
Leng. Hey, man.
Okay. Well, that's why it should be in a...
Oh shit, I'm touching things.
It's not going to show up, that dog, is it? Oh, fuck me. Jesus. It's bloody massive. When she cuts out of the water. Oh my god, it's laying his own.
Here we go.
Now, you probably know me from such works as The Office and Extras, Stephen being my co-writer and co-director on those things. For those people who are not so aware of Carl Pilkington, he was our producer, sort of given to us when we first started on XFM, and you're thinking, well, why are we doing a podcast? It's because I like to be in a room with Carl Pilkington. You know, like some people go and help sort of chimps.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, they go to the
yeah, and help out
jungles and things.
help out little sort of endangered
Diane
species.
Fossey or whatever.
Exactly.
You're
Yeah.
very much the Diane Fossey of the Manchester scene.
Of the little bald mank world. And Carl Pilkington is an ongoing experiment for me, because I've seen him blossom from an idiot into an imbecile. And I want to see it through. Look at the way he's looking at us. Look at that. He's got a perfectly round head. And that's why I'm doing this podcast. Carl, what do you think about all this?
It's just, I mean, we are living in that sort of era now, aren't we? That you need to be able to listen to stuff on demand when you want it and stuff.
I know you're not a fan of the iPod in general, are you? Or any of the MP3 things? You're concerned.
I'm warming to it, But
this is what's amazing about Car. Even though he's talking about things like MP3 players, computers, iPods, he sounds like he was found in a glacier and thawed out. Do you know what I mean? And sort of taught to speak.
We're a couple of high school guys who found him, and we're trying to ingratiate him in the gang, trying to pass him off as someone from the modern day.
But my thing with iPods is, now, do we need them? Do you know what I mean? We're living in that era.
Now, you probably know me from
On demand when you want it and stuff.
I know you're not a fan of the iPod in general, are you, or any of the MP3 things? You're concerned.
I'm warming to it, but
this is what's amazing about Car. Even though he's talking about things like MP3 players, computers, iPods, he sounds like he was found in a glacier and thawed out. Do you know what I mean? And sort of taught to speak.
We're a couple of high school guys who found him, and we're trying to ingratiate him in the gang, trying to pass him off as someone from the modern day.
But my thing with iPods is, now, do we need them? Do you know what I mean? We're living in that era now where we have invented most of the stuff that we need, and now we're just messing about.
They said that in 1900. Someone actually said everything that's to be invented has already been invented. They said that in 1900, and how wrong were they?
No, but what came out? At what point? What was invented in that year where they went, right, that's it now?
The 20th century. Think what happened in the 20th century.
Go on.
Well, planes.
Yeah, but is that a good thing? Planes and that. Do you need a plane really? Wouldn't it have been better if we all stuck where we should be instead of travelling about?
Why?
War. Well, look, war's happening, isn't it? Because everyone's saying, well, now we can fly. We'll go over there.
So there were no wars prior to the invention of the aeroplane.
Not like there is today.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, the world's got smaller on it. Everyone's saying that, right? The way I was saying to you the other day, we now go to places where we shouldn't go. People go on holiday to places where you've got to have an injection before you go there.
Jesus.
Forget it then. That's a warning. Don't go there.
I'm with you on that. I don't want to enter a country where I have to have an injection to stop me from dying while I'm in that country.
Right,
I totally agree with you on that.
So what happened is, they invented the plane, and it's like, oh, let's go on holiday, and then they go, die now. Oh, well, you've got to invent something. Let's invent an injection. And then it's like, right, well, what else do we need to go to that place? There's a lot of faffing. So what I'm saying is,
is that a place? A lot of faffing.
What I'm saying is, Steve's travelled more than I have. You've been to like dangerous places.
I've been to places where you need injections, yeah.
Yeah, but why?
Because it's fascinating, isn't it? Don't you not believe in that idea of travel broadens the mind? It makes you experience other ways of life, other ways of thinking. It just enriches you as a human being. That's the whole reason people go travelling.
Well, since the invention of the telly, you don't have to go that far to see
You're
it.
absolutely right. Rick, it's that time again. It's what everyone's waiting for. Can you do the jingle for us?
Oh, chimpanzee, that monkey news.
Right, this week the monkey news is about, we all know, there's monkeys knocking about that aren't happy in this country.
Sure. It is a big problem, yeah, it's an epidemic.
So they've set up like this place.
Okay.
Where they all go. The ones that aren't happy in the zoo and what have you, it's getting them down.
They can phone a number and they'll come and pick them up.
Pop them in this house place, right? And basically they can run riot in there.
Yeah.
They get freedom to sort of cheer themselves up. There's 3 people running this place, right? So these monkeys, big house and that,
PlayStation,
gym, all that lot, swimming.
Gym.
One of them wanted to mess about with the woman's breasts.
Oh, geez.
Which woman's breasts?
The woman who works there.
Right.
And she was like, right, pack it in, we've all had a bit of fun. Been in the gym and everything. She obviously, got a bit excited and that. He was fired up and that, ready for some more action and that. He's trying to have a go on this woman's breast, right? She was like,
Have a go.
She was like, no, you're not doing that, pack it in and all that. The boss who's running the place was like, come on, let him have a go.
No, Right, you're talking shit.
So anyway, right, so he's there and he's...
So the boss says, yeah, you can have a bloke.
The boss is saying, let him have a
Come
go.
on, Rita. If Monkey wants to play with nipples, let him.
So she's like, I'm not happy with this, and he's going, come on, you know the rules here, we've got to cheer these monkeys up.
This is absolute
Actually, no, and in the end, because she didn't allow it to happen, the fella bloke sacked her, got someone else in.
I want to see the advert he put in the Guardian media page. I love that. Woman wanted to let chimp feel tits whenever it wants.
Well, it's all up there.
You're talking absolute shit again.
Well, we'll see.
That is no way that happened.
Another email here. It's an interesting fact. I'm hoping it's true. America's first nudist organisation apparently was founded in 1929 by 3 men. Now, what intrigued me when I read that is the fact that it's clearly 3 blokes just trying to meet some nude women.
They're all 52 balding
Exactly.
with little so those gold rimmed glasses.
Yeah. And they're just wandering around, and it's all quite saggy down there, and they're just knocking on doors saying, we're just set up an organisation. It's perfectly above board, completely legitimate. It's a nudist organisation. You got any women in there that want to come and join us? Because we haven't got any female members at the moment. Got any women in there interested in, volleyball or trampoline?
I can't be doing with it, mate.
You hate nudists, don't you?
Nudists. I don't understand what it's all about at the end of the day. And here's something, right? Do you know, like, when you're a bloke nudist, right? Do you ever get any who just have, like, a small knob?
I don't understand the question.
What's that? What's your point?
Well, are there any blokes who are knocking about who just have a normal-sized knob, or maybe a bit smaller than normal, who are happy wandering about showing off what they haven't got, if you know what I mean?
I don't think nudists are just doing it because they're so proud of their knob.
No, but there's got to be a little bit of that in it, isn't there? Just saying, most blokes who, nudists, they must be pretty confident in themselves to, I looked once.
What? Where are you going?
What is this? It's natural, that's what I'm saying.
What do you mean? This
As
is
a bloke.
Carl takes a sneaky look at menscocks.com.
No, what I'm saying is natural.
What's this happening? You were in a gym.
No.
And a lot of guys are getting changed. And
No,
you're just checking
you're
out
at your bedroom window with a pair of binoculars,
No.
and there was a little fella across the road
I
getting
was
changed.
at some night out once.
Go on.
So you were at heaven and you were in the
It
toilet.
was some night out, and some people come running on the stage, right? Some music started coming on, and these 4 people ran out. It was 2 women.
So
2
you were at a gay
blokes.
strip club?
It wasn't gay in that. It was just a normal night out. Well, some sort of party night out.
Right.
These people come running on, right? You got 2 women, you got 2 blokes.
Right.
They whip the knickers off. The fellas whip their undies off.
At the same time?
Yeah, all at the same time.
Was it like a choreographed thing?
So that happened, and all I'm saying is, right, before I had a look at the woman's bits, right, I just had a little cheeky glance at the fellas.
Why?
Just checking it out, just seeing is everything normal down
Why
there.
weren't your eyes drawn instantly to the ladies' bits?
No, don't believe me, I had a look at that. All I'm saying
But you went to the guys first?
I didn't know how long pants were going to be left off for.
So you didn't want to miss your opportunity, is what I'm saying? You saw a window of opportunity to see some men's bits and you thought, I better take it, because this may never happen again.
No.
So what happened? So there's 2 women, 2 men, right? I don't know what sort of event this is where you're looking at anyone get their knickers and pants off. I don't know why you're looking at all. So you go right. There's knickers and pants off, right? Let's check out the knob and testicles first.
You're telling me you've never, like, when you've been in a gym or anything, you've not just sort of turned your head, had a look and gone, alright, yeah, that's alright. Yeah.
So let's just get this question right. Have we ever been in a gym and just taken a sneaky glance at a man's genitals? Is that your question to us?
Right, for me, it's the same as when you see someone who's a bit odd.
Hello and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant. Hello and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
This is the worst chair I've ever sat on. And I've sat on some fucking chairs in my life.
Yeah. Are we started?
One.
Are we ready? Are we recording?
Yeah.
Ready? Hello and welcome to a brand new series. What?
It's ridiculous.
I was getting it all fired up.
Excited and motivated.
What are you talking about?
One. Just seems a bit loud, that.
Well, you should have sorted that out. Carl, are we ready now?
Yeah.
Well, come back here then, you dopey bald twat.
Hello? Yeah. I'll just sit like that.
Right, okay, ready?
So it was your problem.
Oh, Jesus.
This is carpet.
Right, ready?
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to a brand new series of the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais. Hello. Well, no.
I was so excited to say hello.
Okay. Hello and welcome to a brand new series of the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant. Hello. And the little round-headed shaven chimp that is Carl Pilkington.
Right.
Well, it's that time again. It's the feature that the world is saying could rival Monkey News one day. Ready? Oh, what's he written today?
Got some post delivered to me today. It was addressed to Mr. Dilkington.
I don't know why that's so funny. Oh, God.
I got some post delivered to me today. It was addressed to Mr. Dilkington. I opened it and the first sentence read, "Dear Mr. K. Dilkington, you are one of our most valuable customers." I put it in the bin. Since obviously the days of Nostradamus, there's been many people who've tried to foresee the future. Carl, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but there's endless predictions. Apparently there are other planets that may collide with ours. There's some scientific basis on this. But if you knew with certainty that today was the end of the world, how would you spend that final day? So, for instance, I've always wanted to smash up a bar. Do you know what I mean? It's strange, but I've always wanted the exhilaration of just smashing all those bottles, like you see in a film.
Would you enjoy it as much knowing that you're going to die in 8 hours?
I don't know, I suppose it's the sense of abandon, I mean, maybe I'd murder a person. Just to say, I don't know, but I think I'd probably go mental.
Because
I've always been a very reserved person, I've never got into a fight, never caused a rumpus.
Yeah, but that's a worrying thought because we don't have to have the end of the world for it to be the end of your world, because a lot of people know that they're terminally ill, so they don't go around smashing up bars and killing people.
But I suppose I know there'll be no repercussions ultimately, because
They're gonna
the
die
next day
anyway.
everyone's gone, so
Yeah,
there's not going to be mourning families.
But then how dare you deprive that person of his last 8 hours or 10 hours of life?
I don't care, because it's the last day on Earth.
What would you do?
I've always wanted to kick a duck up the arse.
Jesus. Jesus, God. Why?
When I watched Jim Will Fix It as a kid, they never really lived up to what the kid wanted, did they?
But what would you have requested?
But I don't think I would, because I think I saw how disappointed most of the kids were.
God, it's
A kid like whistling, they brought out Roger Whittaker.
Yes, because they look at it and they go, "Can you fix it for me to go into space? No. Can I dance with Bananarama? No problem." That's the ones they pick.
Yeah, so
Do you know what
that's
I mean?
why I wouldn't write in, because whatever you ask for, you're always going to get a watered down version.
But if Jim could fix it for you to do anything, what would you have chosen?
There's not many things I wanted as a kid.
One
really.
thing.
Jesus
Just
Christ.
one thing. To choose one thing, please.
That my name was Brett.
Oh my God.
Oh, fucking hell! It's not unbelievable!
I mean, it's extraordinary.
There is no predicting that.
Okay, you know what? I can make that dream come true
we
for you right now,
We
Brett.
can just call you Brett from now on.
No problem, Brett.
Brett Pilkington.
It sounds good.
I love the fact that it's the Carl bit he wants to replace, not the fucking
No, but
Pilkington.
that doesn't work either, because like then
Why not, Brett?
because I told my mum and dad that that's what I wanted. They started calling me that, but then I forgot that.
They went along with it.
Yeah,
So you said, "Mum, Dad, call me Brett from now on," and they went, "All right."
yeah, but then I kept forgetting that I was Brett, so I wasn't answering, so they went back to Carl.
Good Lord.
It's amazing.
So you've had that dream come true.
Yeah, and it wasn't that good. And that's what I'm saying to you. Things never live up to what you want. Dreams, what are they?
Wow. That's
I think trousers are going to be stopped being made. Just because you see kids now, they've got pants around their ankles. They're going further and further down. So I think that's evolution, just getting rid of the trouser.
Right.
It's just dropping naturally.
Wow.
That's the evolution of the trouser because it's dropping
But you see
incrementally
now,
down
you
the
see
arse.
kids' underpants, so they're just dropping.
Yeah.
I think they'll get to the point when they just don't bother wearing them anymore.
Right.
Prediction 1!
Okay,
That's an amazing one!
They'll stop making trousers in the future.
Good.
Okay.
There'll be more letters in the alphabet.
What the heck?
Why?
Because we're running out of words now, aren't we?
No, we're not running out of
Well,
words.
we are. We are definitely running out
Just
of
using,
words.
just using the letters we've already got,
Yeah.
making new words.
Yeah, we're making, yeah.
No, but we haven't got enough now.
Of course we have. Have you any idea? You could have a word with 9 L's
Yes.
before you run out.
Yeah, and they do in Wales and what have you. That's because their alphabet is shorter than ours. They've only got something like 24 letters over there.
Right.
They go mental with the L. now, what we do is we've got 26 letters, but we are now struggling.
We're not struggling at all.
We are.
We're not. No, it's just stupid.
Boswallocks in shampoo. Now there's a word where they've gone, well, we invented something here. We've got something we're putting in shampoo.
Boswallocks?
Boswallocks.
Have you just made that up?
No, it's that they go, new with Boswallocks and ceramide R. Yeah, but that's a new word because they have to, they come with a new word.
But it's a terrible word.
Why?
Boswallocks.
It's another word.
Is that real? You've made
Yeah,
that up, have you?
I haven't got a real word.
Boswallocks, yeah.
Now this is what I'm saying. So years ago when they came up with all the sensible ingredients,
Go on.
sodium. That sounds
He
alright.
likes sodium, he doesn't like
It
Boswallocks.
sounds like something in it, like an ingredient.
Well, yeah, but that's because you're used to it.
Is this a load of Boswallocks? Are you winding me up?
No,
the two of
it's
you?
real.
It's real. And that's because 26 letters, we've wasted them. Years ago we went mental with the, pneumonia, sticking a P on it. There's loads of words where you go, what's that letter doing in there?
Oh, God.
Whereas now, they can't do that. They've gone, whoa, pull that back, why is that letter there?
Who
Now
has?
you've got stuff like abbreviations and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's not waste letters. Let's just control it a little bit. Cars are called things like, GTI or something, because they're going, well, I can't think of a word to call it. So they're giving them letters. Think of a word now. Think of a word that hasn't been made up.
What do you mean?
Well, tell me a word that hasn't been made up.
All words have been made up.
No, one that hasn't. That could be you. Say if I invent something now to put in shampoo, what can I call it? Quick.
Cranberry.
No, it's too close to that. No, we can't get that past the advertising person.
Scrimpton.
Scrimpton.
Yeah.
So you're talking Ricky 2 goes and you accepted his second one.
Well, I think we've sorted out the future. What would you do though if you were swimming, right? It was a nice little thing, you're on holiday, right? And there's this octopus there, and you're going around, right? And you just see it start spitting at you. Poison. What would you say to it?
well, it's too late then, isn't it? I'd kick it. And I'd say, knobhead. I would, but what's the point? What's the point in getting annoyed now? Because it's done its stuff on it.
I don't know why you'd kick it and call it a knobhead under the water. What is this octopus thinking? Oh, God. Oh, okay, you fucking 8-legged shit.
I'm not bothered. I don't know what you're saying.
Fucking cunt of a mollusk.
I'll just spit at you again. It's not bothered.
You slimy little fucking boneless wanker.
This is why the face
Are you
is
still
good.
talking to the octopus?
Oh, my God. Look at a cute little clownfish.
Obviously in China, you can only have one child, can't you? Is that something you feel we should bring in here?
Cute.
Yeah, I think we've got to, I don't know about one kid. I just sort of concentrate on who can have a kid. As
Okay.
opposed to, if someone's got a load of money and they're good at looking after kids, let Madonna have as many as she wants. But if someone who's-
So social engineering you want to do?
but hold on
well, what you said then, if you're bringing them into a poor family, what's the point? What good is that for anyone? It's not good for the people who've had the kids.
So
it's not good
who's
for the people who can't have
deciding
the
who's allowed to have how many kids?
Yeah,
you
but
deciding?
I was
brought
into the poor family, wasn't I?
What?
I was brought into a poor family.
No, I'm talking really poor.
So, third world.
No,
Well, poorer than that. Poorer than no money at
I
all.
just mean like the people who I've told you about on the estate sometimes who had that one who chased cars and stuff. He wasn't happy. They didn't care if he was there or not. What's the point?
Right. So hang on. So let's imagine that Ricky and I are husband and wife. We've come in, right? What's your questions to us to establish whether we were allowed to have a couple of kids?
Hello. Thanks for
Me
coming.
and my husband, we can't have children because he's got no sperm at all. He had one sperm and it was too ridiculous. It was awful. It just came out like a dead anchovy.
Right.
And you're meant to have 300 million tiny ones, and he had one big one. It was horrible. I had to pull it out. It was like a leech. And also, I haven't got a vagina, so there was no place to
Super
put.
smooth then, like an action man.
Yeah, it was just that. I don't know. But we love children, and we wondered if we could.
Hello, and welcome to this DVD extra. I suppose it should be called Meet 𝕃.ℝ.𝔹. 2. We did a little bonus feature for my politics DVD, where we talked about politics, obviously, and that sort of introduced you to the world. That was put on YouTube, and it's had like 1 million hits. So I think it's time we did that again, but around science, a subject that, if possible, you know less about than you did about politics, in a way.
I reckon I do know more about science.
What is science?
It's in everything, isn't it? You can't avoid science.
It's interesting because people who believe in God say that about God. He's in everything.
No, but this is like proper. This is, if people want to believe in God, that's all right. But science is, without science, you wouldn't have any of this.
Well, it's almost the antithesis, isn't it? That if you believe in the magic of, God and all his impossibilities and theological, and that's science looks at hard empirical facts.
See, all that went right off my head. I'm into science. I'm into the weird science. I like the fun of it. There's a lot of fun in science.
Let's start at the beginning, the Big Bang. Okay, here, what do you think of this? An atom, right, is mostly nothing. One analogy is it's like a fist in the Albert Hall. So an atom, the size of the Albert Hall, the matter part of it, okay, the nucleus would be a fist. The rest is space, okay? That's one thing. With a fly buzzing around it as the electron, just a
That's great.
charge. Now, when we look at it on that scale, it's easy to understand that all matter that exists, everything in this universe, was once in the space many, many times smaller than an atom.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
That doesn't. No one. Most people watching this are going, I don't get that. My head hurts.
No, for
what
real.
else is on?
Everything in the universe could be crammed into the tiniest thing imaginable. And that was sitting there in the beginning of time. Right? 15 billion years ago. Right? And then it expanded into a universe in a few minutes.
But was the minutes then?
No.
So we don't know then. We don't know how long it took. No, that ain't matters. I'm not bothered. It's here now, and that's what I'm saying to you. It's all amazing, that the Big Bang thing. I've said to you, was it a Big Bang, or was it just because there was nothing else there to drown out the noise? At the end of the day, it's that whole thing, innit? The noise. Was there even a noise if no one's there to hear it? Don't be worrying about all that stuff. Leave it to Stephen Hawking to do it. Of course he can sit there and think about it. He's got nothing else to do. Let him get online. Oh, it's great to think. I like thinking, but my world's too busy. I've always got to be doing other things. He's sat there just thinking. I'd be the same if I was in his shoes. Exactly the same. Thinking, but he's done that much thinking. He's thinking about things now he doesn't need to think about. Pack it in, Steve. Have a rest. Play
He
Pac-Man.
already has.
Do whatever. Just do something else. Stop worrying about the Big Bang. He's wasting his life thinking about something that doesn't matter. We don't need to know the answer.
He's wasting his life thinking about something that doesn't matter. Good.
It doesn't matter, does it? In your life of things that matter, where would you put the Big Bang?
No, but then where
We're
do you
not
draw
here
the
for
line?
long enough. We're not here for long
But then
enough.
nothing matters then, does it? So
It does, yeah.
What
Things
does?
matter.
What matters?
Well, keeping people happy.
Okay.
You know, looking after people.
So keeping them happy could be giving them life-saving drugs, or feeding a starving world, or letting someone become mobile that was otherwise immobile.
And that's fine. But you're talking about space. When did it start? Where does it end? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You know, it goes on and on and on and on. We know that. Atoms, they're not getting in the way. Stop worrying about them. I read something about some scientists trying to smash one up. What for? They're not in the way. If they were big and I kept bumping into them, smash them up. Break them down. Gravel. Make gravel out of them.
Oh my god.
Make atoms so tiny that they're only gravel.
No, but what I'm saying is, it's not an issue. And
Right.
There's loads of problems in the world. There is loads of problems. You mentioned them all, the starvation, all that. And someone's faffing about with an atom. That isn't going to sort anything out.
Some people say mathematics is the tool of science. You need maths to do anything in science.
Yeah,
Precision.
I believe that. You do. I like doing DIY. I told you, there's a lot of maths involved. Accuracy.
Right.
That's fine.
Okay. Just taking it slightly even more accurate than DIY. Microsurgery. Putting a man on the moon. The figures had to be.
Pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, you see, if we didn't have the numbers, that wouldn't have happened. But all we've done is create something else we didn't need because of something else we've got. We didn't have to put man on the moon. What was he doing? What did he do? Nothing. Has he been back? No, he hasn't. He didn't enjoy it. No one else has gone up there. The only reason, the thing that I've thought of recently when I thought that would be good to go into space again is to get rid of rubbish. That's what I'd do. They're always going on about landfill and everything. It's not good. We can't get rid of all this. Shoot it up there. Stick it into space. It's expanding. There's loads of space. Stick all this shit up there. Don't be sending a man up. I heard that one of them astronauts knocking a golf ball about on the moon. Leave your golf clubs at home and take some shit up with you and tip it.
Yeah. But do you know how much fuel is needed to get a kilogram of something up out of the Earth's atmosphere and into space?
He had a golf club with him.
I
Golf
know.
ball.
Okay, but how much rubbish do you think we can really get rid of?
As much as you want.
But how much fuel does it take? I mean, it's a matter of economics as well. Think of the fuel that would take a bin bag full up into space would far outweigh that bin bag being on Earth.
But they keep going into space now. They're not going to the moon. They knock around space, messing with satellites.
Right.
Less astronauts. A couple of bin bags. Chuck some shit up there. And what's good with it is it won't break up. It'll just keep circling. And up there, then, space isn't space anymore. It'll be like a museum. Because there'll be old stuff from years ago. At the moment, we don't save anything, do we? It's all about recycling. Everything's destroyed. There's no evidence of the past. Go into space, it'll be like Antiques Roadshow of shit from the years gone by.
Right. I'd like to see this episode. That's mental, Carl.
It's not mental.
It is mental. How would you get the rubbish up there?
In the rocket.
Yeah, but you don't know anything. Do you know how much fuel it takes to
But
burn?
they're going up anyway. I'm just saying, at least if they're going up there, do something. Do something different. It's space. There's nothing in space. Well, let's put something there. That's what we do as humans. We don't like plain space. We fill it. That's what we do. So just chuck some shit into space. That's all I'm saying. If you're up there, get rid of a few bin bags.
Brilliant. That's space.
There's nothing. Don't you understand what I'm saying? There's nothing.
Yeah, but it's mental. It's everything's wrong with it. It's once again a terrible, flawed theory.
Time machines. They're funny. That's science.
Well, we're sort of going into the future, aren't we, all the time, by
Well,
definition?
every day we are. Yeah?
Exactly, yeah.
But I'm talking about people want to do big leaps, don't they?
Yeah.
I met a scientist once, you know, an old fella I met, proper scientist. He said he'd love to get in a time machine.
Patrick Moore.
No, Wolf. Heinz Wolf.
All right.
He said, I'd love a time machine.
Where would he go, back or?
Yeah, back. He said he wanted to go back because he asked me, he said, where do you want to go? And I said, I think I picked a holiday that I had.
So you went back 5 or 6 years?
Because I knew exactly what I'd be going back to. I enjoyed that week. I'd be going back, I wouldn't have to pay for that holiday, I've already paid for it. It's not like I'm turning up and someone's going, get out, you shouldn't be here. I was there.
So you're going back because you reckon you'll save 400 quid?
That was 250. It was a bargain. In Mallorca, a villa, swimming pool, 3 bedrooms.
That's what you'd use a time machine for?
I'm just saying, why do people always have to jump so far
So
back?
hold on then, let me get this straight. Are you going back and it's you now and you've had that 5 years and you're loving it, oh, I remember doing this, or are you going back and just reliving it like a memory and no one knows the difference and nor do you? It's like you just do it and then you have to...
No, everybody there doesn't know I've gone back in time.
Right. So you've come from the future then?
Yeah, but they don't know that.
No, I know, but you're in your body then, you look like you did then, but actually, it's Carl 5 years on.
Yeah, but I'm having the same holiday and I'm going to enjoy it more.
So you're not coming back with going like, oh, Rita, go and get that checked out.
No.
And no?
I'm just having a holiday. But the weird thing is, this professor bloke, he wanted to go back, he said he wanted to go back when, like, cavemen were knocking about to see how they sort of mooched about and how they survived.
See, that to me is more interesting than going back on a holiday I've already had, I'll be honest.
You wouldn't go back to being a caveman. You'd hate it. You'd be going, oh, God, send me back. And they go, no, you've got to stay here for a bit. It's an expensive machine.
About 10,000 years.
Yeah. I don't understand it. I wouldn't want to go forward either.
So when you went back, so suppose you went back to caveman times, right? You are you, right? You'd fit in fine.
I'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
I'd be the king.
Maybe.
No, I would.
Right, what would you do then?
No,
How
it's
would you...
like you said, they'd be worried.
They go.
Yeah. Right.
Slightly different, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's exactly the same. We haven't changed bodily. I've got a pair of pants on.
Right. So you go back naked so you'd fit in?
No. Well, because I'd look all pale and...
No, you would go back naked or they would take your pants off. First thing they do, if you went there with pants, they would rip your pants off.
No, they wouldn't.
They would. You can't go back with pants on. You've got to go back naked. It's summer, they're walking around naked. Why would you go with pants on? Before you get in the time machine, you'd have to take your pants off.
No, because I want to come across like I'm something from the future.
Okay.
So I walk in. They're going, whoa.
What are they doing? What do they say?
They just can't believe it. They're going, what's going on?
What do you say?
I say, I'm just visiting.
What are you wearing then? What are you wearing?
Jean, this. I've gone like this.
Okay. They would definitely want to see.
No, they wouldn't.
They would, to them.
Because they're sick of seeing it. To them, it's like being on a nudist beach. They're no longer looking at cock and bollocks and tits and arse. They're seeing it every day. To them, it isn't weird. To me, I'll probably be looking at them. Put some pants on. I don't understand why they couldn't do that, really. I think they did the wheel before the pants. So,
really?
Yeah, I think they did.
Biology. The life sciences. Isn't it amazing that we're here? That anything is here? That we're having a chat now in front of these cameras for a DVD extra. And we started off as a single cell blob, a little thing that had the right temperature in the right compound, the right minerals, ultraviolet. A little thing happened. This little nucleus. It was just a cell. Okay?
But I don't like thinking about that.
And then it divided, then it
Yeah.
got a skin, and then...
Yeah. I don't want to know. You know, when people get in touch from Friends Reunited, I go, that was 20 years ago, I don't want to know.
Right.
So I certainly don't want to know about 30 million years ago.
Okay.
I want my little time zone that I'm
Right.
born, I live, and I die in.
Okay.
That's all I can worry about.
It doesn't fascinate you at all. It doesn't fascinate you
It's
at all.
amazing, but it hurts your head, doesn't it? I don't like it. I don't
Just
like
by chance something happened, a genetic mutation, and then that was chosen by nature. It worked. It survived. Okay.
But certain things work and they're not that impressive, like slugs. You always say, well, it's evolved. It hasn't evolved.
Okay, we share about 70% of our genetic material with the slug.
Lord God.
What's 70%?
Well,
What 70% has that got that I've got?
it's got 70%.
I've coughed up stuff that looks like a
Ooh,
slug.
wee.
If that's a 70% you're talking about, but there is nothing else, nothing in a slug.
There is.
Nothing.
You share DNA with an onion.
I've heard that.
That's the roundness of the head, probably. I'm telling you that the slug has about 70% of the same genetic material as the human species. We're that close. We're that close. All the hard work was done then, in terms of like getting it right. A slug got it right. A slug is as evolved as us. It's perfect.
It's not perfect.
Why? Okay.
Definitely not perfect.
Why? Why isn't it
It's
perfect?
just not great. I've had to deal with slugs a lot when they were like blocking up my shower.
Right.
There's a gang of them in the tube. How can they be as evolved as me? What are they doing? Sat there, just all mushified.
Mushified! Right, talk me through it. What happened?
Just was having a shower and the shower basin filled up.
Right.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
So I got a plunger.
Right.
Some bits of black stuff. I'm thinking, what is this? I had to unscrew the plug hole bit. Couldn't quite get down there.
Yeah.
Had to take the tiles off the side of the shower thing.
Right.
Got in there, unscrewed it all, got the pipe. Just slugs all in there. All sat in there, blocking it up. Don't know how they got in there. But that's what I'm saying to you. They don't know what they're doing. What they're doing knocking about in there. Get out! Now what are they doing? I don't know to this day what they do. I watch insects, you know I like insects.
They survive. That's what they do. They're chosen
Yeah, but
by
they don't
nature.
know. There's another one. There's loads of insects knocking about the house. There's a spider in the outside shed.
It's not an insect, nor is a slug. Slug is a mollusk, spider's an arachnid.
Alright.
Okay.
The spider's in the cupboard outside.
Right.
I'm not joking. It's been there now for about 2 years.
Right.
Could be 3.
Okay.
Same one. It's quite big.
Right.
Just sits there in the corner.
Right.
I go in. I smash its web up.
Why?
Because I don't want it there.
Right,
I
fine.
don't want to kill the spider.
Right.
But I'm sort of saying, I'm wrecking your house. If you move, there's no problem, move. I go back, it's built its web again. Just sat there like that. Doing nothing. What is the point?
Well, it's not doing nothing, is it?
Oh, it's building its house every
It's
time I wreck
hunting.
it.
It's hunting.
It's not even doing that.
Well, it is. That's what it. That's how it does it. It's made a web, and things fly into it. Then it wraps them up, sucks the juice out.
Well,
Right.
for what? To then sit in this shed.
What are you
It's not
doing?
in existence.
What
Why
are you-
didn't it go?
But you're eating. You're staying in your flat. You want to go back to Mallorca 5 years ago. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh, it depends. I've been...
Who knows what's going to happen in another billion years? You'll be the slug. The human race could be the slugs. There could be this amazing being that evolved from us going, what are they doing? People go, well, you know 70% of their genetic material. You don't know how it's going to go. You stood on the shoulder of giants. You stood on a few slugs, you told me in your flat. But we share our ancestry with those slugs. We are related to slugs.
I have never watched Who Do You Think You Are? And they've gone in your family tree. Do you know Terry the Slug? He's a great uncle of yours. We don't need to know where we've come from. Nobody would want to hear that either on that programme. You would not want to hear that.
Yeah, but
It's nothing to do with us.
Oh.
It's happened. It's all an accident.
But it's a matter of degrees. Your brother. Right, okay. Very close to you. Your
I
cousin.
haven't seen him for about 12 years.
Okay, genetically speaking. Couldn't get closer, okay? It's the closest you can be. A brother, a son, a mother. Except a clone. An identical twin, okay? So, cousin, a bit less. Great cousin. Bloke round the world. Chimp.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jimmy Cole, also known as Dooner Livingstone. I'm a truck driver.
Sorry about the commercials, y'all.
For the past few years, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, and Carl Pilkington have been meeting regularly for a series of pointless conversations. This is one of them.
Testing.
Is that alright? Hello and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And the little round-headed buffoon that is Carl Pilkington. Alright. Now, you probably know me from such works as The Office and Extras, Stephen being my co-writer and co-director on those things. For those people who are not so aware of Carl Pilkington, he was our producer, sort of given to us when we first started on XFM. And you're thinking, well, why are we doing a podcast? It's because I like to be in a room with Carl Pilkington. You know, like some people go and help sort of chimps.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, they go to the jungles and things.
And help out little sort of endangered
Diane
species.
Fossey or whatever.
Exactly.
You're very much the Diane Fossey of the Manchester scene.
Of the little bald mank world. And Carl Pilkington is an ongoing experiment for me because I've seen him blossom from an idiot into an imbecile. And I want to see it through. Look at the way he's looking at us. Look at that. He's got a perfectly round head. And that's why I'm doing this podcast. Carl, what do you think about all this?
It's just, I mean, we are living in that sort of era now, aren't we? That you need to be able to listen to stuff on demand when you want it and stuff.
I know you're not a fan of the iPod in general, are you? Or any of the MP3 things? You're concerned?
Sorry for the commercials, y'all.
This is one of them.
Testing.
Is that alright? Hello and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And the little round-headed buffoon that is Carl Pilkington. Alright.
Ray, you'll be pleased to know we've already had some responses, and Simon and Mark have already emailed us in this link to something that was on the BBC News website. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but it's a remarkable story. Lion mutilates 42 midgets in Cambodian ring fight. That's just the headline.
That's a hell of a headline. That makes me want to know more about the story.
Well,
that's what a headline should do.
Spectators cheered as entire Cambodian midget fighting league squared off against African lion. Tickets had been sold out 3 weeks before the much anticipated fight. The fight was organised. Every fan contested Yang Shamoni, president of the CMFL, claiming that one lion could defeat his entire league of 42 fighters. Well, the fight was ended, Rick, after only 12 minutes, after which 28 of the midget fighters were declared dead.
Right.
While the other 14 suffered severe injuries, including broken bones, lost limbs, and they were basically unable to fight.
But the lion wasn't hurt?
It would have seemed that the lion was okay.
Oh, good. Well, that's amazing.
Carl, what are your thoughts instantly? I mean, you're bound to have a take on that.
See, what's annoying me is I've sent money to Cambodia because apparently they're hungry and haven't got any energy. So what's going on?
Well, it's much easier to fill up a midget than it is a regular Cambodian. You know, they're
I just feel like I'm being cheated a bit.
You were conned before with a charity, weren't you?
Well, a few times, yeah.
What about the old lady? What was that?
I got stopped, and it's like they sort of drag you in by saying, "Have you got a gran?" And I said, "No, they died." And that. It's like, "Oh, did they die of the cold?" No, she's, ill. What have you? Just old age. He said, "Well, what happens with a lot of people's grans is they die in the cold, right?" So I was like, "Oh, that's bad, isn't it?" Anyway, so she's chatting and she's showing me pictures of these old women who look cold, right? Saying, "Look at her, that's Edna. She's got no family. She can't pay the bills and all that."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Oh yeah." Anyway, it goes on for about 15 minutes and you feel bad. You give them your bank details, right? And what happens is every couple of months you get a letter from Edna. Well, it's not from her, it's typed up and what have you. But there's a picture of Edna, right? And it's saying, oh, this December, you know, Edna's going to be extra cold. It's cold outside, she can't afford to pay the heat and what have you.
Yeah.
Keep going, right? A month, like £5, whatever. Get another letter a few months later, right? Edna's sat there, she's got a tan.
What do you mean she's got a tan?
Well, when they said, you know, she's cold, I thought they meant for the heating, not to send her on holiday for a month. She's sat there with a tan, I'm not joking.
Are you sure it wasn't just a sort of a slight problem in the printing?
No, definitely.
Sure, it wasn't
well happy.
Sure, it wasn't liver failure.
You see, when does it become like bad to avoid people like that? Do you know what I mean? Because some people say you shouldn't. You know, they're people like us who just had a bit of bad luck.
Well, of course they are.
Yeah, I know, but I remember one on our estate, right? And she was a bit. What's the word that you can use? Because I don't want to offend anyone. But I'd say but sort of mental homeless. Is that a term?
That's the official term.
I think that is the
official term. It's mental homeless-itis.
Right. So she lived on the estate and what have you, and she aged.
How was she homeless if she lived on the estate?
Well, she sort of decided to stay around there because I think people on the estate spoke to her more than people who had money. So this mental homeless woman on the estate, and what she used to do, right? She acted quite normal, and she used to always push like a pram around with her, right? Everyone was like, she can't have a kid, can she? Right? And she was dead happy every day. She was up and down, walking up and down the road. Anyway, one day she sort of walked past, right? Turned round and looked in the pram. There's a bucket with a face on it.
Oh my god. Bucket with a face on it. What the heck? That's crazy.
Rick, we've had an email here from a bloke. I think you're going to respect him because I think you can tell straight away from his name that he's the kind of guy you'd want to hang out with. Go on. I know how much you love fun people.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, and he's calling himself this, Paul the Party Animal Parker. He's emailed in. He's given himself that moniker.
Right, I assume they're in sort of like quote marks, are they?
In speech marks, yeah. Paul
Brilliant.
Party Animal Parker.
And he's called himself that.
Yeah.
That I can't wait.
So when you picture him, what are you thinking?
Millhouse.
Right, okay.
I think he looks like Millhouse from The Simpsons.
Yeah. He's working in sort of an IT department, maybe.
Yeah,
for a large
possibly.
organisation.
Oh, I think he might still be at school.
Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And this is the vital question. Do you believe him to be a party animal?
I believe him to be a party animal is as much as a man with a long scarf that his mum knitted him to look like Doctor Who can be a party animal, yes.
Do you think that when people are organising parties at his school, they're thinking the first person they got to get on the list and make sure he's guaranteed
You've got to take Paul the party animal. Because I bet he's got millions of affectations. I bet he wants to be known as the one that carries around a biscuit tin.
Yeah.
You know, he's got the scarf.
He's the guy who only ever wears bowling shoes.
It's his thing. It's his thing.
He's a little bit kooky, it's his thing. And it is fairly interesting what he sent in. He's found this on the web. A Serbian man who has invented a sex machine for women. And he's appealing to Western women to test his device. It runs on a 390-volt electric engine, simulates sex, and has a 7.5-inch artificial penis. As soon as I read this, I was thinking, just imagining there going, oh, thanks for coming in, yeah, okay.
Next episode. Good grief.
Few years, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, and Carl Pilkington have been meeting regularly for a series of pointless conversations. This is one of them.
Testing.
Is that alright? Hello and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, hello, and the little round-headed buffoon that is Carl Pilkington.
Alright. Do you know, the other week when I came up with like a different idea of how we can sort of make the world run and that?
Can we just have a quick recap of that? Because I seem to remember it was a load of old arse.
It was ridiculous. It was he was saying that the world is overpopulated, so the system would be where people were living too long and stuff. So what happens is people live till 78. I don't know how you can enforce that, right? Yeah. But when they die, they've got a little baby in their stomach, like a pip in an apple, that then carries on when they die. Right. It wasn't a theory. It wasn't an idea. It was the ramblings of a mental case.
You're saying it's stupid, but someone's emailed in and said, "Oh yeah, that's pretty good." Just saying. If that's a no, right? I've been thinking
it is a no.
What about if we do it the other way, right?
Ah, go on.
somehow, I don't know how
A kid has an old lady?
That's what it's going to be, isn't it? A child can give birth to an old man.
No. What I'm saying is, right,
Go on.
work the other way round.
Come on then.
So if somehow we can inject something in like a body that's just died, right?
Listen to this. Imagine this as notes.
So-
when he hands it into the Nobel people,
Yeah.
and they go, if there's a way that we can inject something, they go, well, what? Well, I don't know the chemical formula, but something HO2.
Right. So anyway, so you inject it in the temple.
He's narrowed it down to the temple.
So what happens?
She sort of wakes up,
Amazing.
right? And she works the other way. So like she might be 77,
Yep.
and then she'll have a birthday, she's 76, and she's working that way.
Right.
If you know what I mean?
Okay.
Are you with me?
No, keep it.
Because the thing is, you've got...
I'm really scared.
Yeah.
I'm really scared. This is the maddest thing you've ever said. This is madder than the old lady with the pit like an apple in her belly.
It sort of did work.
This is no, it didn't work. It worked in your head. It's like a dream that you wake up and go, oh, I've got a great theory. It's like
This is it. Let me just tell you the
Go on,
ending, because the endings works out a bit better.
Go on.
What I'm saying is, when you die, at the age of
78.
9 months,
What?
at the age of 9 months, because that's when you come out,
What the heck?
What do you mean when you die at the age of
you're not
9?
scared of dying because you're now a baby, so you don't know what's going on anyway. So there's no
So
fear.
you missed out a bit here. So this woman, what, literally gets younger and younger?
I think when she's in her 20s, she's in her old age, Rick.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because that's the fun part of your life, isn't it? When you're 20 and you've got all your energy and that. So before you die, you're actually having a good life, rather than it being the other way around.
But does she do different stuff than she did on the way up? Because she's already lived 78 years, hasn't she? Don't forget. She was a baby once, and she grew to 10 years, then someone stuck a needle in her head and said, right, back you go.
No, we'll forget all that bit.
Oh,
Wow,
okay.
okay.
Look at that bit.
What I'm saying
So
is,
she died and she doesn't remember all her. This is a new life, is it?
let me just leave you with this.
Right, you're talking shit. Explain yourself.
But aren't the family getting younger as well? What's happened to the family?
Forget it then, we'll leave it as it is.
No,
Oh my God.
Leave it as it is, shall we?
Can we all agree on that, guys? Now, should we agree to leave it as it is? Is that all right? Because I don't want to hear any more from the diaries of Charles Manson.
I mean, you're a fucking maniac.
Good God.
A friend of mine got a gift, or rather gave it as a gift. I don't know if you've been familiar with these. It's a charity organisation, and you go on their website or you phone them up, and you can give someone else the gift of, say, a goat. And it's a sort of goodwill thing, you know what I mean?
So you buy an African family a goat.
that will help them for years.
And it's like you're saying, well, I would have bought you a present.
Yeah, but I've used that money wisely.
Yeah, so it's almost like they've given
Exactly.
the present. They've given the goat.
Yeah, it's a beautiful idea. But as soon as he told me about it, I thought to myself straight away, knowing Carl's views on charity and giving, I wondered what his views would be.
Well, are they happy with the present over there? Like the people who are getting it?
You're an idiot. What, you think an African family wakes up and there's a little goat with a ribbon tied around it, and they go, oh, look what Santa brought us.
And that mince pie's gone and that glass of milk.
You're such an idiot.
No, but what I'm saying is, does that family want a goat?
Yes.
But why?
It's not they want a goat, it's they need a goat. Do you think, what do you think this organisation is?
arbitrarily giving goats to
They're
people.
going to say, oh, I wanted Nintendo. What are you
But what I'm
thinking?
saying is, right, let me put myself in their shoes. Well,
This'll be
we
a
haven't got
first.
any. But say I'm one of them, right, over there. Right, I'm sat there, it's Christmas Day, right? I open it up, open the present, little goat there, right? Now, if I was one of them, I'd be going, not another mouth to feed. At the end of the day, there isn't enough food to go around for themselves, never mind a goat. Don't they say like having a dog and that is quite expensive? Sometimes they say, what with all the injections you've got to give it.
What the heck?
Well, I'm assuming it's all above board. The goat's had its injections. That's what some of the money goes towards. It's just a way of redirecting cash.
But the thing is, why do they want that goat? What's the main reason? What does a goat give you?
Milk.
Right. Now, wouldn't it be easy to just send them a bottle of milk? Without all the hassle and the headaches that come with it. That's all I'm saying. And the other thing is, think about the goat. That was happy over here. Suddenly, it's on barren land. No grass.
I'm gonna burst! What do you mean?
You didn't send a goat from here.
I'm saying, who's happy at the end of this, right? You've got a fella who hasn't got a present over here because the mate bought him a goat, right? So yeah, let's do this properly. So there's a tick. He's not happy, right? Then you've got the person who's opened it, like you said, wanted something else, right? It's a goat. They go, who's going to look after this, right? So tick, they're not happy. And then you've got the goat going, what am I doing here?
Definitely love this, surely. Have you started seeing this now? Virgin are starting plugging Virgin Galactic. I think it's something like 200,000 quid, and you'll get a chance to go in a space shuttle into space.
Carl, thoughts?
Going to space?
Wouldn't it be a fascinating experience to go into space and look back at the Earth?
I mean, at what point are you all meant to be happy? Do you know what I mean? You're floating about up there, and because you don't get out, do you?
What, you mean to do some duty-free shopping?
I'm just talking, you don't go floating about, do you? You stay in your seat.
Well, they probably let you move around on the shuttle.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about getting out. For me, when you go on
you want to
holiday...
get out into space?
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. When you go on holiday, the flight bit isn't the best bit of the holiday, is it? That's the bit you've got to do. So what I'm saying is you've got to stay on this and then you go back home. So you don't take luggage, right? I don't see the point.
Right, so you're there, you're sat in your own clothes for the whole time, same clothes the whole time.
But I don't understand what is the point.
I think it's the view. I think it's two things. I think it's the view and being able to be part of an exclusive club. I went into space. It's all that thing about man conquering nature, and you're one of that elite few that have managed to pop up, see the world from a distance that no one else can see it from, and then pop down.
All that way just for the view.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? I mean, there's a lot of other places I haven't seen anyway. Right, before I think about that, I think if you've done everywhere, I haven't been to Scotland yet. Right?
Right, yeah.
I'm not being funny, but do you know what I mean? So just have a look in your back garden before you go looking in someone else's.
In space?
Yeah.
What would make it a trip worthwhile for you? I mean, if you did go into space, if we gave it to you free of charge, we said, Carl, go up to
I know
space.
the answer. I know the answer to this, Steve. He's thinking to meet some aliens that can talk like I do, and I can understand them, and they can tell me something. Like what? Oh, they met God. He was all right. That's the sort of thing. That's what he's going to say. He'd like them to look like monkeys in spacesuits.
Yeah.
That'd be his ideal thing. He'd like to go to the planet of the
Yeah, I was
apes.
gonna say, yeah,
He would love
they
to
could
go
arrange
to
that.
Look, he's nodding. He's nodding. Thoughts, Carl?
Well, yeah, that'd be brilliant.
What would be brilliant?
Seeing a little alien and having a chat with him, find out what's been going on.
What's been going on?
Wow.
But don't you think that, like, I mean, if you bought me that as a present, right, either of you, I wouldn't be that happy. For me, that's a little bit like...
Well, that's annoying because we've got you a trip to
just
space
pulled
and a
together.
goat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you know how, like, I am interested in sort of going on another planet, right? Not,
Carl, you are on another planet, mate.
no, but do you know what I mean? It would be quite sort of interesting.
How do you think you'd get there?
Well, yeah, you'd go on a rocket and stuff, but what I'm saying is, at least you know when you get there, you're getting out, you're having a bit of a wander. But I wouldn't be happy in just the journey bit of it. That's all I'm saying.
That's great, isn't it?
But the thing is, right, because I was looking into it a bit, because I was reading about the Virgin thing, right? And I was reading something that in 1971, right, 3 of them went up there. There was 1 bloke in the rocket, right? The other 2 wandered off, had a walkabout, seeing what rocks they found. And that bloke who was in the rocket, right, he was the loneliest man ever in the world.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know if that's some sort of profound poetry, or I don't know. Do you know what I think he's trying to say? He's trying to say he was, by definition, a human furthest away from all other human contact.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, okay. Now, you know, you said loneliest. Loneliest evokes an emotion.
Yeah. But it's like he started crying and writing poetry and listening to Morrissey records.
But what I was thinking is, do you think when he got up in the morning, he still bothered to put his clothes on?
That's the first thing that came into your mind.
No,
when
just
you
because
pictured him
I
in
always,
there.
you know, at the end of the day, even if like my girlfriend Suzanne's out at work and that, I'm not happy walking about with everything out because you never know what's going to happen. I just mean, you know, you never know if someone's going to turn up.
No, I don't like what I don't like. No, I always pop some pants on or a towel, even if I'm
Not
alone.
always. Because I've knocked on your door when you've been stood there with.
No, he's taking his trousers off.
I did it especially,
Oh,
knowing
right.
that you were there. I've done it especially to annoy you.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so.
But do you know what I mean? Do you think he was walking about the rocket with his tackle out, or did he go, well, you know, no one's watching here?
Do you reckon it floats up or down?
Well, if you are the man who was up in a space rocket and was for a short period the loneliest man in the world, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what you did with your time, how lonely you felt, and also did you float around with your cock and balls out?
Good lord.
Carl, if you could have a superpower like Superman, what would your superpower be?
Can I suggest consciousness?
Oh my god.
Can I have the power of thought?
Remember, you've already got opposable thumbs. So cross that one off the list.
Oh, go on, Carl.
There are so many to choose from. Telepathy, X-ray vision,
Flight, invisibility,
choose it wisely.
strength, intelligence.
But why have I been picked?
Oh, for God's sake!
No, but I'm just saying.
It's Rob's question for you.
But I'd just say, does anyone else want this? Or, do you know what I mean?
Oh,
No,
what do
because-
you wish you
no,
could do that's
no,
impossible is
because-
the question.
no, because-
or out of... What? What do you mean?
Because with that comes a responsibility.
With enormous power does come great responsibility.
So, would you like spidey senses? Is that what you're saying?
Come on, Carl. You know all these superheroes because they can.
I know, but it
they can
always
freeze things.
They're never happy, are they? Do you know what I mean? Spider-Man that wanted to tell that girl that he could climb walls and that. He's like, I can't. Superman never told Lewis and that.
Who's Lewis? Who's Lewis?
It's just a pen pal of Superman's.
Lewis! It's Lewis in the shop! Yeah! Alright, Superman. Hello, Lewis. What are you doing? Hey, Superman. Who are you? I can't tell you, Lewis. Brilliant.
You know, Hulk. He wasn't happy.
Hulk, he wasn't happy. He's true. He's got a theme. He has got a theme. There's not many happy superheroes, are there?
Leaving aside the superheroes you're already aware of, what superpower do you want? You don't have to fight crime with it, Carl. Just do some of the other things. Invisibility.
All the time, though, or can I sort of turn that on and off?
Let's say you could turn it on and off. Would that interest you?
Yeah. I love that.
Okay, and what would you do with this power of invisibility?
Just sort of wander about and just not get seen.
It's a brilliant power. It's a brilliant. And it's put to such brilliant use. It's really well done.
And why would you want to walk around and not be seen in that? What would you gain from that?
I don't know. You could sort of go in shops when they shut, so you don't have to go.
How would you get
crowds. Just get in just before they lock up.
How would you get out?
Wait till the morning.
Oh my god.
So hang on. So that's your use of invisibility. They found the power of invisibility. You want to sneak into... Never mind. No, hang on. You want to sneak into HMV, right? Wait for 12 hours and then buy something.
I love it.
Just so that you don't have to be there with other people.
Do you know what? I don't want it. I don't want a power.
Why not?
Because I just don't think it'll do me any good. I think it's more of a hindrance.
I love this. It's like, just think of his presents. We've given you a trip into space, and the chance to be invisible.
Not happy with any of them.
Yeah, what he wants is a voucher for HMV.
Yeah. He just wants some tokens for a record shop. Just going through a few more of these emails. This one's from Kent from Nova Scotia, Canada. He says, Carl, he's wondering if you've got any personal mantras that you could pass along. For instance, he reminds us of Ben Franklin's famous mantra, waste not, want not.
Who said that?
Ben Franklin.
What did he do? What was his job?
Ben Franklin was a well-respected American politician from the 1800s. He was a sort of thinker, a philosopher, a scientist, deeply respected. Also
on
a
money.
big political figure. He features on
He's
the
on a
dollar bill,
yeah.
$10 bill or something.
Yeah.
So he's one of the great sort of American Enlightenment thinkers. And he came up with the mantra, waste not, want not.
You must know waste not, want not. I mean, that's just...
Do you understand the phrase waste not, want not?
No, not really, no. What does it mean? I've never used it.
It's like, don't throw stuff away because you might need it, and therefore you won't be wanting anything because you didn't throw it away.
So he was a bit of a
Well,
hoarder.
if you don't waste food, for instance, then you
He's a
won't...
bit of a hoarder.
For God's sake.
No, but I'm just saying, you know, he's a man in power. Is that the best thing he ever said?
No, I'm sure he came up with many, many profound
So why is
things.
that one
He did
remembered?
experiments in electricity and conducting electricity, all sorts.
But that impresses me more, inventing electricity, than someone...
He didn't invent electricity.
Wait a minute! Did it impress you more than what?
Just saying, waste not, want not. I don't think it's that good. It's not even catchy.
How would you word it?
I'd just say, whoa, don't be chucking that out. You might need that later.
Don't be checking that out. You might need that later. Carl Pilkington.
Whereas some would argue
2005.
that waste not, want not is perhaps a little bit more pithy, a little bit
We
more...
should go through great sayings and phrases and say
See if he
Carl.
can, well, firstly,
Yeah.
does he know what they mean? And then secondly, can he improve them?
That would be brilliant.
We'll do that next time.
So, all right, let's see. Okay, Winston Churchill. Never have so few done so much for so many. What do you think of that? How would you... Do you know what that means?
I'd just be annoyed if I was one of them who gave a lot for a few or whatever, right?
No, gave a lot for so many. You were,
Yeah,
if you were one of those few
yeah, if
that
I-
gave so much for so many, i.e., it means these few good men, their actions freed the world. They freed the world. They have an impact on every person in the world, and they were few brave men, yeah. And that's what he's saying.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if I was one of them men who gave up his life, right, I'd want a name check. I don't want to be bungled in with everyone else who is saying a load of blokes gave it their lives, well done and that, see you later.
That's brilliant.
Did you just say bungled in?
Bungled in, yeah.
He made up a word.
You want to be bungled in?
You made up a word. See, that's it. You see, we've been looking for it. That's original. That's Carl Pilkington. I don't want to be bungled in.
Right, do you know we've chatted about charities before, haven't we?
Sure, yeah.
Done a lot of stuff on that, right? I was coming back from Manchester, right? Got off the train, Houston.
Yeah.
Off the train, walking through the busy bit and stuff. There's this fella stood there, right? Good charity worker.
Yeah.
Right? Nice looking fella who's got his suit on, a tie and everything, quite respectable and that, right? Look down at his bucket, all money's been put in the bucket and that,
Yeah.
right? On the front of the bucket, right? It says collecting for the homeless at Christmas. Now, why can't they do that?
What, the homeless?
The homeless people. Why is some fella taking his time out, right? His own time where he could be at home. Why?
Some of us have got homes to go to.
Yeah.
Why? Do you know what I mean?
What, do you think just give them the
Well,
buckets?
what are the homeless people doing whilst he's doing that? Is what I'm saying. What have they got on the timetable?
Cut out the middleman. Cut out the middleman.
What would prevent a homeless person, an entrepreneurial or homeless person, just getting a bucket and writing that on there themselves?
Could I suggest something? Hunger, some drug addiction, traumas, often mental illness, just possibly too depressed to get up, put a suit on, and go to Euston Station with a nice bucket with some writing on it.
And then, right, I was thinking about that, right, and I was walking down the street in London with Suzanne. Saw a little homeless. Oh, well, I didn't see the homeless bloke, right? I saw a leg, right, sticking out of a doorway. Oh, there we go, right. Walked past it, right. You're not going to believe this.
Go on.
Homeless.
Yeah.
Chinese fella. I've never seen one of them. No, I'm not having a go, right? But have you ever seen? Do you know what I mean? That was a shock.
I really don't think I have. I think he's got me there. I hate to say it, but I must say I can't remember ever seeing a homeless Chinese person.
Weird, isn't it?
I
She said, I walked past and I said to Suzanne, did you see that? She went, what? I said, just look back there. She said, what? I said, that homeless fella, look back at him. She said, what? I said, he's Chinese. And she said, yeah, good point.
Good point. Of course she did.
She said that to shut you up.
She didn't want to get into a conversation with you.
Rick, it's that time again. It's what the whole world is waiting for now.
Is it
every
Monkey
week.
News?
It is Monkey News. Please perform live the jingle.
Oh, chimpanzee, that monkey news, you